Good morning. Welcome to your program Agenda here on Cignal TV, channels 8 and 250 on One News. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us on this rainy morning here in Barrio Capitolio, Pasig. I do hope that the rains have stopped if you are anywhere else in the Philippines, but I guess that is a bucket list for now. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being subscribers of Cignal TV, and thank you to PLDT Home Fiber Optic Internet. Today, it's a perfect time to feature our guest for today, given that it's rainy, it's overcast. A lot of you will probably choose to stay home. So why don't you join us and learn all about food? If you're Filipino, I'm sure I now have your attention because our guest is a respected veteran. I don't know what to call him. He's a chef, but I think he's also a mad scientist. He's an author. He does all sorts of things, but you will learn a lot from him today. But before I do that, of course, we'll save that for our interview proper. Before we do that, let's get on through our daily starter for today. And it comes from Elaine Hayes. Love doesn't seek to win the argument. It seeks to protect the relationship. This is something a lot of husbands, a lot of wives, married couples, even family members need to hear. Even office people need to pay attention to this. Love doesn't seek to win the argument. It seeks to protect the relationship. And even if you are not in a love relationship, just making sure that you protect the relationship will make things a lot better. So moving on, excuse me, medyo mabagal ang ating warm-up today. Moving on, let's go to the front page of the Philippine Star for a quick run-through. Today's Philippine Star, August 2, 2023. The headline is, Senate okays option of taking West Philippine Sea or WPS to UN Assembly. Resolution strongly condemns China intrusions at sea. Crossing party lines, senators adopted yesterday a strongly worded resolution condemning the China's incursions in the West Philippine Sea and providing the executive department with several options to deal with the matter, including raising it before the United Nations General Assembly. So there we go. It's no longer an if, it's a when. And at the top of the front page, Teves brothers, 11 Degamo suspects tagged as terrorist. Okay, and you may be wondering, bakit pa? Well, now that they have been tagged as terrorist, walang bail. Okay, if they get arrested, walang bail. All the money or accounts in your name are frozen. You have no move. You cannot move between countries. So, ayan. Malupit po yung declaration na yan. So we will see what it will result into. Meanwhile, Bulacan, Pampanga placed under state of calamity. As you can see in that photo, that is such a common situation where people now walk in foot deep to knee deep water in their own living rooms or in their homes. The province of Bulacan and Pampanga have been placed under a state of calamity due to massive flooding and damage caused by the southwest monsoon, enhanced by Typhoon Egay and Falcon. Yeah, okay. And then Terror tag baseless, says Teves camp. Describing the terror tag as baseless, the camp of suspended Negros Oriental Representative Arnolfo Teves said yesterday the move by the Anti-Terrorism Council did not come as a surprise. Okay. And further down, Metrobank Foundation gives 1 million to Damayan Fund Drive. Heeding the Philippine Star's call for donations to families that have been affected by widespread flooding in Luzon, Metrobank Foundation yesterday pledged to donate 1 million to Operation Damayan, the Philippine Star's humanitarian arm. Further down in the paper, we have a photo. Former President Corazon Aquino's daughter, Balsi and Viel and grandsons offer flowers as family and friends attend the Mass to commemorate her 14th death anniversary at the Manila Memorial Park in Parañaque yesterday. Meanwhile, government to import 1.3 million metric tons. Hindi po tons lang eh. Million metric tons of rice as President Marcos expressed concerns over the combined impact of Typhoon Egay, the El Nino phenomenon, and Russia's withdrawal from the Black Sea Grain Initiative. Okay, and then DA ASEC, 4 others suspended amid onion probe. Ombudsman Samuel Martires has ordered the preventive suspension pending the investigation of 5 officials of the Department of Agriculture and the Food Terminal Inc. over alleged irregularities in the procurement of onions later sold at Kadiwa's store. Suspended pending the results of the investigation are DA Assistant Secretary Christine Evangelista, DA Administrative Officer Eunice B. Blañas, Officer in Charge Chief Accountant Lolita Hamelia, and FTI Vice President for Operations Gabriel Benedict Trinidad and Juanita Lualhati. Yun po. But you will notice there are no smugglers. There are no cartel leaders. Only government officials. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the page, we have the Bank of the Philippine Islands celebrating its 172nd anniversary yesterday with a Thanksgiving Mass held at the Ayala Triangle Garden Towers in Makati. Ang tanda na pala ng bangko na yan, 172nd. Meanwhile, last but not the least, captain of capsized boat has no license. Donald Anain, the captain of Motor Banca Aya Express, does not have a valid boat Captain 1 license according to the Maritime Industry Authority. So now we know, after so many people died in the capsized boat or motor banca. Yan po. Yan. Congratulations, Marina. You are doing such a good job. Daming namatay. Ngayon nyo lang sasabihin walang lisensya yung kapitan. Too late, the hero kayo dyan. Okay. Let's move on to our conversation this morning, our agenda. The agenda is all about food, our culture, the discussions, arguments tungkol dyan sa adobo. And let's roll out, Gab, if you would. We seem to be snagging here on Messenger. Please roll out the Betamax if you would.
If there's one way for Filipinos to win the heart of the world, it's through their stomach. Online food and beverage site Taste Atlas listed Filipino food as the 19th best cuisine globally last year. The famed international food catalog also included chicken inasal and sisig in their 100 best traditional food list, and lumpiang Shanghai in the list of best street foods around the world. If foreigners are also interested to try our stews, Taste Atlas declared adobo as the superior dish. The Filipinos' love for adobo is further explored in award-winning chef Claude Tayag's recent book, The Ultimate Filipino Adobo: Stories Through the Ages. What made this dish so special and unique to our identity as the Filipino? Let's discuss this on today's agenda.
Claude Tayag is an award-winning chef, culinary artist, and food writer. Despite having no formal training, the Angeles City native impressed a lot of personalities worldwide with his skills in the kitchen, including the late great Anthony Bourdain. In 2016, Tayag won the People's Choice Award at the Embassy Chefs Challenge in Washington, D.C. with his rice dish called Bring Hay. Last year, he released his latest book, The Ultimate Filipino Adobo: Stories, which features stories of how adobo meant to different people. Currently, Tayag and his wife Mary Ann are running their restaurant, Balay Dutong. The Kapampangan restaurant was included in the 50 Best 2021 Essence of Asia list.
Okay, good morning, Claude. Welcome back to the program and thank you for making time with us. Kamusta ka na, Kuya?
Mabuti po. Maraming salamat for giving me this opportunity to explain more or less like what's happening in the culinary world, in the Philippine culinary scene.
Well, I'm really glad we're connecting here, and I have to explain to you, ladies and gentlemen, Claude sent me 2 books, and one was a copy of the Adobo book. And weeks later, I texted Claude, can you just explain the book on the program? Because I am a bad reader. But the reality, Claude, is this. Ever since the lockdown, well, a year and 4 months ago, I became a vegetarian. So going through your book is a visual punishment for me and a reminder of what I have to give up in my food choices. So, ayan, that's why I've asked you. Yeah.
If you read through, near the end of the book, there are vegan choices, meaning recipes. I mean, it's endless. And I think for me, that's the beauty of adobo. You can practically adobo anything, whether meat, protein, animal, or vegetarian, with tofu, with vegetables, anything. Di ba meron tayong adobong kangkong, the most popular one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So adobo talaga for me, it's like the go-to and all of all Filipino way of cooking.
Well, you know, that's strange because over a year ago, someone had reached out to me for crisis consultancy because of that adobo controversy. May naging controversy daw yung adobo as to whether because it was suggested we should standardize the adobo. Kumbaga, if we're going to make it the official Filipino dish, it has to be based on an official standard of the menu or of the recipe, etc. What's your reaction to all of that?
Well, in the first place, I think this book, the Ultimate Filipino Adobo, it's a direct reaction of that standardized thing. You know, it was the DTI, the Department of Trade and Industry. They made an announcement like 2 years ago that they were going to standardize the recipe of adobo. But you know, Filipinos all over the world reacted violently. I mean, it just cannot be done for the simple reason: adobo is not a dish; it's a way of cooking. And in the first, secondary to that, what you said about before we can make a national dish, to make it officially a national dish, it cannot be done. Also, it needs promulgation by law. It needs to be, be proposed in Congress, this and that, and all, talagang madugo yung to make anything officially national. We have the national flag, we have the national language, but would you believe not even Dr. Jose Rizal is our national hero? He is one of many national heroes, but it's never been promulgated by law that declaring Jose Rizal as our national hero. Because there is yung campo ni Aguinaldo, campo ni Mabini, campo ni Bonifacio, for example. They are all national heroes, but I guess it's because it's like even the historian Ambeto Campo mentioned that Jose Rizal is our national hero by acclamation, meaning popularity. In the same way, I would put adobo in that place by popular acclaim that it's our most popular cooking method, most popular dish, ika nga, no? But the thing is, yun na. I mean, we cannot make it.
But do we have a national dish, Claude?
No, we cannot. When you say of national, that is like what, inclusive of everybody. But yes, I mean, it begs the question of like, would you say that? So why do we have this obsession of pinning down into one dish what should represent us? Is it fair to say like hot dog and hamburger is the national dish of the U.S. or French fries for the French? Of course not. It's not even.
Yeah, well, we always have that discussion here in the house.
Yes.
French fries were not. There's no such thing as a French fry, and it is not made by the French.
Yes.
It was by the Americans.
Yeah, ito yung mga accepted anomal, I would say, like our pancit canton is not from Canton, Guangdong, or even the chorizo Bilbao. Everybody, every town, every province, every region in Spain would have their specific kind of chorizo. So again, ito yung mga popular terms that we just accept. And we understand each other what we mean.
Okay, now you were referring to the issue regarding the standardization of adobo, and you said it's not a dish; it's a way of cooking.
Yes.
Please elucidate or educate us regarding that.
Okay, adobo, the Filipino adobo, in the Filipino context means it's cooking method using vinegar as the primary source of liquid. Papakuluin natin yan sa vinegar, and then maybe with meat we add liquid water to cook it further, right? So kung isda naman, konti lang, vinegar lang ang kailangan, but the native name for that kind of cooking would be the paksiw. So,
yes,
paksiw, it's a kind of adobo in that definition. And
do you have any idea? Sorry, medyo I have to cut in. Do you have any idea where the word adobo came from?
Yeah, of course. Like it is a borrowed term from the Spanish adobo, meaning adobar. To adobar, meaning to marinade. And what is their marinate? They marinade. So to marinate something in a meat or fish in vinegar and garlic and other spices. That is the definition of adobo in the Spanish context. So, the general, you can say, or the most probable explanation why us Filipinos adopted the word adobo to mean our paksiw, or it could be the dinaldalem in Ilocos, it could be the inununan in Cebu, or the pinamalhan in Iloilo. When the first contact of the Spaniards and the natives, because at that time there wala pang Filipinos. The concept of the nation, right? It was just the native of the islands. So the Spaniards were offered something, a dish given to this tawag nila para bang foreigners.
Yeah.
So ang sabi nung Kastila, nung kwan, ¿qué es ese? Sabi niya ganun, what is that? Oh, parece nuestro adobo. It looks like our adobo. Something like that. Tapos sabi daw nung native, ano daw? Adobo daw. So in every island that they went, they were offered something similar to that, meaning cooked in vinegar, called by different names. Of course, that has been lost in history in the sense that it was never recorded what those particular names, respective names, in every island that they encountered. So it was a common term that we adopted, but over time it has changed in meaning. Meaning from the original Spanish, meaning marinade. Sa atin naman, okay, they marinate protein for preservation.
Yes.
For future cooking. Meaning it's not cooked on the same day it is marinated.
Nakababad, nakatabi.
Yeah, but in the Filipino context naman, if you follow that Spanish definition, that is our daing na bangus. We marinate the bangus in suka, vinegar, garlic, salt, pepper. In the Visayas, it's called inununan. I'm sorry, not inununan. It's the lamayo. Di ba? Alam mo yung lamayo na danggit? Meaning it's just soaked in vinegar and garlic, salt, pepper for preservation. And then for days later, then you cook it without refrigeration. And this was all during the pre-refrigeration days.
Yeah, because vinegar was both a preservative and also something that was antibacterial or
yes, exactly.
or
Papatay niya yung pag nag-contamination yung so the vinegar is really a preservative, plus the garlic. Actually, garlic is a natural preservative as well.
Okay. Now, it is a method, not a dish.
Well, in the Filipino, again, in our society, in the Philippine culinary landscape, it means both.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. May baboy ako, anong gagawin ko? Anong lulutuin mo? Gawin mo, adobo mo na lang. Ganon. But then, anong ulam natin ngayon? Adobo. Adobong what? Adobong baboy, adobong manok, adobong whatever, no? So, I guess, and for me, that's where the confusion starts. No, it could mean different things to different people, and at the same time, so like in Iloilo, for example, they would call something cooked in vinegar. I mean, the kinds of adobo there is like, number one, they call inadobo for fish, seafood. And then, sorry, I think I'm mistaken. And the other one is adobado. Adobado manok or meat. So see, I mean, basically it's the conjugated, it becomes the description itself. Pag sila nag-uusap, pag sinabi mong inadobo siya, it could mean the seafood. Or adobado, it could mean the meat. So again, we call things differently in different regions, but we mean the same thing.
Okay, so it's all use of vinegar, use of garlic, pepper, perhaps.
Yes, bay leaves.
And bay leaf. Okay.
Yeah. All these are what we call them in the culinary terms. These are the aromatics: the garlic, the onion, and then the herbs, meaning the bay leaf. Some here in Pampanga, we use oregano, the dried oregano. We call kulot. So depending on the again, I think for me that's one of the beauty of adobo, our adobo, that it's so flexible that the finished adobo depends on the maker. What is preferred, what is available, what is afforded.
But is there a strict rule? Like with me, if you say, Cito, mag-adobo ka nga, I will end up in the kitchen with cooking oil, boiling water, boiling meat, or kangkong, as you pointed out.
Yes.
To me, adobo can only be pork or maybe kangkong, definitely soy sauce, definitely bay leaf water, and nowadays, or back before I became vegetarian, I fry it first and then I adobo. I
Yes.
adobo the thing. Now, is there a strict rule na kailangan you have to fry it or cook it in oil?
No, no, no. The cooking in oil actually the first thing is like boiling, not simmering. Some would pan fry it first, and this is called the braising, meaning
Yeah.
let the meat, especially for meat, for baboy, kaya gusto natin yung, you know, the cut of pork is like the fatty one. So you let it pan fry and then let its own fat, fry in its own fat. The fat will be rendered, it becomes lard. So yun ang pagprito mo, then it becomes brown.
And the purpose
that's
for
when you put the vinegar.
the purpose for braising the meat is to keep the flavor of the meat intact,
Yes,
not to let it
exactly, and the moisture as well, the moisture of the meat inside. So so that's braised. And there's so many ways. There is no one or correct way to cook adobo. Ultimately, there's
Why
no
do you
right.
say that?
Yeah, there's no right or wrong way. I mean, the adobo, the one you cook, probably is the one is the your mother's adobo, the way he taught. I mean, the way you grew up with. That's the way you would be doing it, right? But the thing is, like, there is no right or wrong way of adobo. Ultimately, it's the best adobo, and the only correct way is the adobo you grew up with, or the adobo of your mother.
Okay.
Or your yaya, whoever.
Okay, let's go for a quick break, Claude. I mean,
Okay,
I
sure.
didn't realize time flew by, you know.
Yeah, nakakagutom.
Intro
Dapat
pa
meron
lang
tayong
tayo.
dito, adobo silog.
Okay, let's go for a quick break. When we return, let's dive deeper into the Claude Tayag book on adobo and what else he can teach. But you know, I'm also curious, what was it like being in the company of Anthony Bourdain? Because I've been studying the man. We'll be right back here on Agenda.
Aside from being a known culinary artist, Claude Tayag is a polymath who has pursued multiple careers. He is an accomplished painter, wood sculptor, furniture designer and manufacturer, and a best-selling book author. Tayag is primarily a self-taught artist, taking up architecture and economics courses at the University of the Philippines. He has participated in numerous group exhibitions in Manila, Beijing, Washington, D.C., and Madrid. His more than 40 years in the art scene culminated in a retrospective exhibition at the National Museum of the Philippines in July to September 2019. What else is Claude up to aside from his culinary career? All that on today's agenda.
Welcome back to your program agenda, and with us is our friend Claude Tayag. As you have seen in the in the video, he is a multi-talented individual and comes out accomplished in every endeavor. So I am lost as to how to introduce him in terms of title, but I'd like to pursue that, Claude. You're already successful. It's suggested that you didn't really go to culinary school. You don't have the official title of chef. In the Anthony Bourdain dedication, he said cook's rule. So I don't know. Are you okay being called a cook and not a chef?
Yes, definitely. Actually, I actually encourage people to call me cocinero. I'm just a home cook. That I went out of my, you can say, comfort zone. You have to understand where I come from. Like, I was born and raised here in Angeles City, Pampanga, being the ninth of 12 children. That's why they call me Cloud 9. Hindi Claude, it's Cloud. Well, so anyway, I'm going to go, like, can you imagine the amount of cooking our mother did when we were growing up? So we were made to help out in the kitchen. As 8 boys and 4 girls, everybody knows how to cook. Even back in, high school, I was already doing my own dinners, especially when the dinner is like it's like a repeat from lunch. So like kunyari may nilagang manok, I would make chop suey out of it, or I would make a chicken sandwich. Kung anong meron. Again, dun siguro ako natuto ng improvisation. Na make do with what you have. I guess that's Filipino cuisine in general. Kung anong meron. So and then in UP Diliman, and this was what, 1973 to 1976, pag merong long weekends, ang mga classmates ko and friends would tease me, Cloud, papunta kami ng Baguio this weekend. Daan kami sa inyo, pagluto mo kami. So, sure, sabi kong gano'n. Little did they know, utusan ko lang yung kusinero namin, kaya bili ka ng tosino, gawa ka ng sisig, gawa ka ng buro, hito, mustasa. So, and for us, these are staple, everyday food. Tapos doon ko na-realize yung taga Manila, walang alam talaga. They find it so delicious. And para sa kanila, gourmet na yun, no? Of course, in the sense, what we term gourmet is relative. It's like, if you have it every day, of course, ordinary food na lang yun. So,
yes.
Ganun ako nakilala sa kwan. Tapos yung barkada ko noon was mga foodie after college, sina Larry Cruz, Nancy Reyes, she's a granddaughter of the original founder of Aristocrat, the Reyes.
Yeah.
No? So Larry Cruz and people from like in the food industry working in hotels, F&B dito, manager doon, or GM dito, ganun. So every Thursday we would meet up and like try a new restaurant. This was late 85, 85 onwards. So ang point ko, wala pang so-called foodies noon. But we were, you can say,
you were immersed. You were in the culture. You were in the food society, so to speak.
Society,
no?
I'm
kind of wondering, Claude, you could have stayed there. In fact, I've always known you. All the time I've known you, you're the chef. Akala ko nga chef ka, and you're the food culinary expert. And now I find out you got into painting, sculpture, you're a book writer, you went back to school. Why is that? What is the driving motive behind, what's the agenda?
Okay, the agenda is, I think you got it the other way around. No, I was an artist painter first. I had my first one-man exhibit in 1978. And then almost every year I would have a one-man show, and together with that, with other artists, like group exhibitions in painting initially, and then I went into wood sculptures,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say it was and then, as I mentioned earlier, yung barkada ko in Manila would be these foodies. Either we would try out a new restaurant, or
Mm-hmm.
we would be jamming in somebody's house, meaning cooking. So it was
Mhm.
Larry ang pinaka-ano namin. Sabi, Cloud, halika, mamalengke tayo sa seaside. Magluto ka sa bahay. So in my circle of friends, they knew me as the cooking person. So in 1988, Larry Cruz invited me to be a guest cook. Tingnan mo, cook pa lang na ako noon. So, to be a guest cook in one of his restaurants called Anghang, that was on Sanvar Plaza along Amorsolo Street in Makati.
Wow,
And
that's a long time ago.
oh yeah,
Sandbar
1988.
Plaza.
You would have the photos ready. I sent them. He titled the 3-weekend food festival as Art Walks by Claude Tayag.
Mhm.
And at that time, 1988, that means I've already 10 years as an artist known in Manila, no, as a painter. So I interpreted my paintings into edible art. So bumalik-baliktad. So
Okay.
tignan mo yung paintings ko. Yan, tingnan mo in the background. So
Mhm.
in the yung paintings ko, interpreted it in a plate. And then that's when I realized, like, cooking, you attack. I mean, you consider like the empty plate, like an empty canvas, and then you have different medium lang materials. Kung sa painting, you have this color pigments and a brush, and then while in the cooking, you would have all these ingredients. And for me, the cooking goes beyond the actual thing. So actual plate, like how you will cook it, how you will compose the plating and all that. But beyond that, there is an interaction with your audience in cooking. They smell it. After seeing it, they smell it, and then they taste it. So there's like all the senses are involved. So for me, it's like an art performance. I mean, another, don't they call cooking culinary arts in the first place? For me, it was another medium to explore. So from Larry Cruz, I was invited, sunod-sunod na, nag-one-night stand ako dun sa Manila Hotel, serving a Kapampangan dinner to the Siendo Rito Sur. So, and then again, a few years later, dun sa Intercon, sa Prince Albert, where it was a collaboration between the French chef Cyril Sonnen. So it was a Papango French fusion thing. So again, I guess that's how I earned my stripes as a chef. So I hesitantly, just let it be. But the thing is, kusinero lang po ako. I'm as an artist, what is to stop me from doing all this?
I know you have a restaurant. I think I believe you put up a restaurant with your wife. But how come you didn't, or baka naman because of pandemic, I never saw it or caught it. But one would assume a guy as good as you would have would have a chain of restaurants all over the place.
Really, it's not a chain. It's just one, and then Ballet Dutong here.
Yeah.
Basically, like, I call it private dining. Like, we turn our home open to the public by reservation only. And this all started in year 2000 when I invited a group of let's say like-minded from the literary circle. well, Doreen Fernandez was there.
Yeah.
Adam Mabilangan was a co-author. I think Ambet Ocampo was there too, and some Jesuit priests. So I just serve them what I do here, what we eat on a day, not really daily basis, but something special. But I guess using local. I guess that's my advocacy all this like 30, 40 years. So the thing was, after the meal, Doreen said, Claude, how much do we owe you? What? I was shocked. You know, as a Kapampangan, we're so proud of like, you know, home entertaining.
Correct.
Cooking for, I mean, it's the man himself who cooks. So, sabi niya, I want to write about it, but we have to pay. Sabi niya ganon. That's the principle of Doreen. And then, well, no. And then what? Sabi ko, my privacy will be and all that. So I was hesitantly like accepting his her offer like to write about it. But the thing is, like, well, she wrote about it, and then you can open your home to like-minded individuals. Like, you know, for all you know, they come here, eat, they pay, and then they buy you artwork. So I when I built Ballet Dutong, it's basically like I did a spacious silong. This is the ground floor, mainly to exhibit my artwork. Okay, so
Okay.
as a restaurant was like far beyond my horizon. And then as Doreen wrote about it, I said, okay. It was non-stop calls, inquiries. So move like 20 years later, somebody wrote about Ballet Dutong about me. I was the first one to open that private dining thing, offering meals to guests, paying guests, and the way we treat them. What makes us different from the rest? It's like I, as a writer, again. That's another story, right? I mean, later, how did I do the writing? So, as a writer, I am so interested. I am so you can say like so curious of the origins of our dishes.
But then, yeah, Claude.
So I will explain the dish and this and that.
Yeah.
I mean, and so the guests are treated as house guests. They have their own small party. So that you will not experience in a regular restaurant.
It's personal, you know. Not only are you the one who prepared the meal, you're the artist that created the visuals, the environment, the ambiance, and you're also the owner or the, you know, etc. But here's the thing, Claude, and I hope somebody in the management at Cignal is watching right now, which I'm sure they are. Have you ever considered being the Anthony Bourdain of the Philippines? Of course, you know, minus the demons and the personal issues, but you could easily be the Anthony Bourdain of the Philippines.
Why not like this? I'm the Claude Tayag of the Philippines. I'm
Okay.
Para bang
No, but you know my point. You know, traveling
I know.
from place to place.
The thing is, like, it's not for me to work. I'm doing what I do best, meaning I'm living my life. I am like experiencing, I mean, all the things that I want to do, and I'm doing all the things that I want to do. I mean, basically, I have that, I guess, and this is also a message for students and then the wannabes, whatever field, you have to keep that passion, whatever subject that is. I mean, meaning I had a hobby like in photography, in writing, and this and that. So you explore all those. I mean, life
how do you keep the passion alive? Because I'll be honest, I'll be transparent on the program. I'm dealing with that. And when they said that you enrolled or you took up further studies, you went back to school, it hit a nerve because that is something I'm beginning to start. I'm starting on learning again. But how do you keep the passion alive, Claude?
Uh, how do I keep the passion alive? Well, I don't know. It's like can probably I can answer that in a roundabout way.
Okay.
We have time. So, no, here's the thing. Like people ask me where I get my inspiration. Well, as a person, as an artist, I feel I'm just a medium from a higher being, and if that higher being gives you something, an inspiration, an idea, and if you did not act on it, then it's just an idea. So ako, kaya nga, I guess, it's also a matter of like having developed all these skills in the painting, skills in the cooking, skills in writing, but I was not born with that. I was like, I exposed myself. I did a lot of reading during my younger days, and then also and the painting, I guess the painting itself, I guess it was written in the stars. In that photograph, I was with a company of older people, of adults, painting in an open area in the subdivision that my father was developing, and these were the future national artists. Vicente Manansala, then Abe Cruz was there, Sim Sofronio Y. Mendoza, Rodolfo Ragadon, Mauro Malang Santos. Like at 12 years old, I witnessed firsthand adults painting. Then prior to that, I was like incessantly drawing and painting. And as far as I was concerned, I considered painting as child's play. Laro-laro. Di ba nung bata tayo, our parents would give us like, probably in today's gadgets, electronic gadgets, nung tayo, drawing, painting, papel, at saka
watercolor, papel, at saka Crayola.
Alam, naabutan mo ba yung guitar? Guitar set, watercolor set? Siguro isang piso nun, isang set na, no? But I grew up with that. So seeing this for the first time, adults painting, yun ang sabi ko sa sarili ko, that's what I want to be when I grow up. So more or less, na-set yung focus ko, yung path ko, na towards that, being an artist. But little did I know that being an artist means like, it's not like limiting yourself to one
form,
one thing. So in the end, ang yung inspiration nga, what is that expression of the most famous expression of is it Albert Einstein? Genius is like what? It's 1%, and then the rest is like 99% is perspiration. What I'm saying, if you're given an inspiration, if you did not act on it, for me, that's an act of omission. Para bang dumaan lang. Kung hindi mo ginawa yon. So I get inspiration from nature, from something, watching a beautiful sunset. So it's either because I have the skills to do anything, like you can write a poem or a love letter to somebody, even depending on your present state of mind, or you can paint it. I guess that's how it was with me. It's like
what do you love the most, Claude? Because you're sculptor, paint. Okay, smart answer. Smart answer.
And that's
especially because she's within 1 meter of you. I got.
Oh yes, they're watching.
Please give her my warm regards.
I daw sabi ni Cito.
Okay, but what do you love the most? Because or maybe I'm getting personal here, more of my own questions. But what do you love the most, and is there a period for each love? Kumbaga, you were a painter, you were a sculptor, you're a chef, cook, whatever they want to call you. You're an author, and then you're a restaurateur. Meron bang season siya na after 5 years, wala na, goodbye. Pagod na ako dyan, I'll go to something
Okay.
else.
Yeah, sige. It came in stages in the sense that I can do all this simultaneously, but okay, and then I'll knock down each one. So the cooking. When I established the Ballet Dutong and even the other restaurant, Downtown Cafe, probably I dedicated like 3 months, like developing the recipes, designing the interior. I mean, the whole concept. So after that, we hired a staff. You train the cooks, you train the manager, you train this. And then it was my wife, Marianne, and our son, Nico, who ran it. So tapos na ako dun. Even Anthony Bourdain admitted so much, like, I am not a chef. I'm not an artist. I just followed the recipes of that restaurant where he worked for many years, yung Leal, it's a French bistro in New York. So he admitted that in his book, saying that he is no artist. So I guess that, again, because of my being a painter first, an artist first, I can not only create recipes. In the first place, yung aking background nga sa Kapampangan, mahilig kumain and all that. Pagluto, like I must say, like even Larry Cruz, the LJC group of restaurants, he conceptualized this over like 3 decades. Like so many brands, so many brands. He didn't know how to cook. As a matter of fact, there's a book, Larry Can't Cook. But he knew like what to conceptualize, like putting things together. I guess for me, that comes from his being a Kapampangan, the Kapampangan flair, I call it. So again, so that's one out, the restaurant. And I guess so the cooking is not an everyday thing. Like some people ask me, so what do you prefer doing, the cooking or the painting? It's not even a question. I'm done with the cooking. I cook for our everyday food at home, like for 3 people. But the thing
are you serious? You actually still cook for the house?
Because our daily meals. Our daily meals. Ito pa yung ano ko, like again, this is could be a digression.
Yeah.
Bakit ang sarap ng pagkain nyo dito? Even you can do that at home, just take time. If you are really concerned of what you eat, of what you feel in your body and all that, you cook it yourself. That's the only way you can control whatever, all that toxins, the poison we take in. Of course, I love pork, I love this and that, but then you balance it with proper exercise, but in moderation lang naman. So that's the cooking. And then the writing. I've traveled since I was like 22 years old, all over the world, and then I did a like 11-month tour of another. What I'm saying is like I've been writing correspondence with like friends, my mother, and then my siblings. So in postcards and all that. And in a way, nahasa yung aking kwan. And then I was reading. So in year 2000, the lifestyle editor of the Philippine Star, Bilet Manangkil, invited me. I'll give you a column of you can write about anything. Sabi niya, art, culture, and then so happened, food was my passion more than I can, as an artist, I cannot write about my own paintings. But as a cook, as a Kapampangan, the food was my thing in the travel. So that's how it started. And then what?
Okay, but is there a time limit? Because sorry, Claude, we're down to our last 3 minutes. Do they come in seasons, or do you like me? I noticed in my life 7-year itch. After 7-year itch, 7 years, parang okay, I'm looking at the horizon. What's a new gimmick, new business, or new hobby? In your case, what's the longest you've been at an art or endeavor?
I guess several months or weeks, months, probably 2 years. I was painting seriously, but continuous focus on painting in preparation for my retrospective in 2019. So meaning you go back 2 years. So I was focused on that. So, and then writing the Adobo book. The Adobo book actually is a compilation of my column in the Philippine Star. Right after the DTI announcement in media that they were going to standardize adobo, I wrote an article reacting to that. Basically, I just reported, and it was titled "The Adobo Riot." From one article, it spawned like 16 articles down the line, like almost like one every month. Just writing about compiling the comments and the interviews I did internationally among Filipinos. Talagang by email, by Zoom, by whatever, and actual tasting. Talagang, so the Adobo book is a direct result of those. It's a compilation.
So I would gather that it's more or less 2 year time frames. You did 2 years for your
but remember, yung
retrospect.
in 2 years na yun, I can do other things. I guess what keeps me on my toes, ika nga, would be my furniture business. Again, as a furniture designer, I opened my own workshop, meaning just a small manufacturing thing, 5 workers, and this has like sustained me like the past 30 years. I do custom-made furniture, like even architectural, like big doors, the staircase, yung mga grand sculptural pieces, call it. So if you can Google later on, this is not.
I'll do better than that. I'll do better than that. I think I will invade your space one of these days.
Okay, sure.
Because there's so much to learn.
Okay, but the whole day or like probably 2 days.
Yeah, but we definitely have to invite you back to the program to talk about the furniture, to talk about other things. And we do thank you for joining us this morning, Claude. Thank you for the book that you sent me.
Thank you for inviting me.
I will definitely read it on my vacation. And let's see what I can pick on the vegetarian meals. Thank you. God bless you, Kuya.
God bless you then. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Salamat. Maraming salamat.
That's
salamat.
Okay, that's our friend Claude Tayag, and we hope you will go out, look for his book, and if you are in his area, look up his restaurant. If he has space for you, I'm sure he's fully loaded. Let's now go to our daily prayer, our prayer for the week. Gab, if you would, please flash it. From the book of 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 6 to 7, humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Please continue praying. Prayer is going to be your best tool, best advantage in life, and do include us in your prayer team agenda. God bless all of you, and please keep it here on One News.